Hey everybody, just trying to do a sound check here. If some of you can let me know if you can hear me. For some reason I had sound and then I didn't, and I'm waiting to see if I can hear from Jackie. Um, Jackie, if you look over, if you're on a computer, you see private chat. You could put something over there and let me know if you can hear me and if you could say something so I can hear you. I did adjust my sound. Hello, everybody. We'll be right with you. I see we've got Hula Hoop is out there. Thank you, Hula Hoop. I received the package. I'm very surprised by it. So Hula Hoop sent me some goodies. And I want to just give her a shout out for it. I don't have them here. I was going to show them on Buck's show. And so she sent me some sugar-free chocolate chip cookies. And I did try one. I'm so glad because I've stayed away from sugar and I'm really loving it. So I've got moderators out there now. MJ Truther, you have the wrench, and Amy Boyd has the wrench. And I think I made one other person that comes in here frequently. Let me just check. You guys tell me if you can hear me. 5-5. Okay, Jackie says she can hear. Jackie, I'm going to bring you in. Can you say something, please?
I hope you can hear me.
Okay, TCTME says out in Rumble Land they can hear me fine. Jackie, if you can do one thing, just reboot your computer, and we'll see if that works there. Let's see what's going on out there. Amy is giving me a 5-5. Thank you so much. And so before, while she tries that, I did ask her to go out and come back in. Maybe she has to restart the computer. This is a first time on here, and it happens to everybody that's a first time. We did test her, though, a couple days ago. So this is, I don't know if she made any changes or not. But just kind of want to fill in while she's doing this here. So do you guys remember Three's Company, that show, Come and Knock on My Door? Well, this Sunday, and I didn't know that this was a thing that's out there. I want to share this with you guys. And let me see if I can put this over on this other screen here and present this to you while we hear back from Jackie. So just bear with us. As you guys know, this is the way it goes for first-timers. And whoops, that ain't it. Stop. Present, share screen. Must be screen number 1 now. Okay. So, you guys heard her, but I can't hear her. Interesting. Oh, I hate to touch anything. Amy says she heard her. So if you guys can take a look at this, Mrs. Roper, and down here, I'm going to be roping around on Sunday, dressed as Mrs. Roper with about 80 other people. Men and women are dressing up. We're going to be at the wharf in Orange Beach. I'm going to record this and show it to all of you. If this seems to be something that everybody is doing nowadays, I didn't know that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody's going to sit down. I think there's going to be like a brunch, and then we kind of pretty much walk the wharf. And my dress just came in now, the Crafton that she always wears with her gaudy jewelry and a red wig. I can't wait to show it to you guys. All right, let's see here. Let me just stop sharing this. And whoops, where'd she go? I lost her. All right, so Amy, you said you heard her. Anybody else heard Jackie when she was talking? It could be on my end, and I might have to go out and come back in again. I don't like when this happens here. Something popped up, or it did say audio, but I'm getting a good sound check right now. All right. Let's see if that works. I'm going to wait for her to come back. So, yeah, Amy Boyd says that sounds like fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm just going to, I don't know I think I got the big earrings. It's going to be a big yellow necklace, and the Crafton is actually beachwear that she always wore on the show. So I can wear it down here. No money wasted. And let's see here. So as you guys know, my show has always been going towards getting healthy, wealthy, and wise for 2024. and I've had no sugar. Doing really good. There's times where I still feel like I'm dragging, and I don't know if that's detoxing. In the morning, I make the smoothies. Afternoon, I'm doing all the greens, and it's easier for me to just do the smoothies, eating salads and stuff like that. I'm liking it. LJ, thanks for the compliment on my hair. These are my bangs that I cut. They were down to here, and somehow they got way up here. Anyways, I can laugh at myself. So that's what we have going on there. I'm still waiting for Jackie to come back in, and Amy says I sound good. Okay, so I'm waiting for Jackie to come back in. So we're actually going to hopefully get around to talking about bringing it home. She's very spiritual. Like I said, the first time that I actually met her over the phone, I felt like instead of me interviewing her, she was doing an awesome reading with me, and I was in the energies. I was blown away, and she is somewhat carries a lot of light within her. Hula Hoop says, "I love that show with John Ritter." Yeah. So so all of us is. I'm just kind of reading your comments out there. It's not a lot of people out here in Rumble Land, and not a lot of people out on YouTube. I'm trying to build up YouTube again. Going to be kind of keeping the information clean and sensible for everybody. Everyone must be on Rumble. Yeah, there's only like a handful of people out on Rumble right now. I don't see a lot of people out there, so that's okay. Um, let's see what else we have. I see Kelly is out there, Hula Hoop is out there, and Zuvex is out there. And I don't know if I promoted this or not, so I only see a couple people out there. Hello, MJ. Hello, Amy Boyd. Hello, Sam. Okay, I'm still waiting for her to come back. Let me just text her to see what's going on. Jackie. So I hope all of you guys are doing really well. I decided to go El Natural my hair. If you guys see, I got some gray coming in there and a lot of gray underneath. So I decided to stop putting the coloring into my hair. Also, another update on my health is I actually fired one doctor a couple of times. And the reason why I went back to her the second time, and it was to see the nurse, was because of the insurance. And it's ridiculous, and they wouldn't take cash. So this is the world we live in right now. And in the meantime, I was able to find another doctor very close to us that would take our insurance, but I had to see the nurse, which was fine. The nurse was very open to hearing me saying I only want to take natural products, and I told her I'm on this plant-based diet, and so she took a look at all of my blood work. She says, "Look, your thyroid is just a little bit high. I don't want to put you on any medication." Bingo. She took a look at. I've been doing a lot of Barbara O'Neill's. I'm eating the spinach. I'm eating all the greens. I'm taking the Celtic salt. I'm doing a lot of different things to help with the blood. And she couldn't believe what my blood pressure was way up there, almost near 200. And when I went in there the other day, it was down, way, way, way down. Both numbers, top and bottom numbers. So that was good. I'm going there for to see how I'm progressing with what I'm doing. And I'm so happy. TME, the insurance won't take the holistic doctors. I guess I could pay them cash. But right now, this doctor is basically working with me. And me and my husband both go in there and say, don't push the pills on us. You want to do the blood work, you want to run the analysis, you want to do whatever it takes, and that's fine. So we're not going to make a habit of going there. I think I'm pretty much done for the year, once a year, but we have to have a doctor on hand just for emergencies, and that's the way that the world that we live in. Okay, so I don't know what happened to Jackie. I don't know what happened to Jackie. Let me just see if I can give her a call here. All right, where is she? Okay. Okay, so I just sent her a message and wait. Um. Oh, Amy Boyce says, talking about dyeing the hair color, right? She says, all good. There are at least 59 shades of gray. I went natural, no more blonde highlights. Yeah, I'm at that point, and I've been fighting it. Every time I see it, that I'm starting to look like my grandmother, I go back and I dye it, but I don't want to do that anymore. So I appreciate you guys just having patience here with this. I'm actually thinking I'm going to call her. So let me just mute you guys. And let's see here. Walking while listening, says Hula Hoop. Just found a 4 to 5 leaf clover. Hey, fantastic. Um, oh, well, whoa, whoa. I think she's here. Okay, can you say something, Jackie?
Testing, testing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, Amy, can you hear her? Anybody out on Rumble, can you hear her? So it's on my end then. If you guys can hear her, it's on my end.
Testing, testing, testing.
Okay, this happened once before. Everybody's saying yes, yes, yes. All right. So with that being said, Mary Olmstead has got a statement, and then I'm going to go over to Jackie and throw her the show. If you guys can hear her, that's all the better. We are all using natural doctors here in northern Michigan, and I'm so glad we chose that route. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Mary. She said she can hear us both. I can't hear Jackie. Something happened with my settings, but
Oh man.
I'm just going to let her introduce herself. And I don't know what happened here, but I'm actually going to exit out. And then if I still can't get it, we're just going to let Jackie talk from this point on.
Okay. Well, thank you, Janine. And wow. So my notes disappeared with my reboot. Give me just a minute here to find those. This has been a really interesting creation so far. Okay, hold on here. Wow. So my notes that I had for my show are gone. I guess we're gonna wing it. So hopefully Janine can join us here shortly. Well, thank you guys, and thank you, Janine, for inviting me on. And this is so far everything that about this show has just been creating from kind of like from the hip. So it's super interesting energies. I do know that Janine had talked about the first conversation her and I had. And I know that I walked away from that conversation just knowing that we had opened up this huge space of healing. Like there was so much space in that area for both of us. And I would like to invite all of you to actually just come on into that space with us. It's very interesting that her and I can't hear each other. This just makes it, and that my notes are gone, and that I guess we're just going to play. So I'm JacqueChapman, and I've been involved with natural healing most of my life. Much of what I do today, much of what I play with today, the information I have has come through my love of horses. I know Janine had talked a couple shows back, that everybody's playing with the space of natural healing and starting to be in that journey. And I know for myself in the late 90s, my journey, I had been kind of touching base with some people that had quite a bit of information, but not really committing to anything. And there came a point where I ended up at the doctor's with a really bad infection. The doctor prescribed some antibiotic that was very powerful, and like one every 24 hours or something like that. I can't remember what that was, but it was a very powerful antibiotic. I went to the pharmacy, picked it up, went home, took my pill, and immediately was super sick. Oh, now you guys are saying you can't hear? Oh no, Janine's saying she can't hear. Okay. Um, oh gosh, well, what would it be like for her to be able to jump on the show here and we can hear each other? Anyway, I got very, very ill from that very first pill almost immediately, and I right away called back the doctor's office. And nurse answered and took my call, and she just said, "I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. You're just going to have to wait it out." And I thought to myself, that was really scary. Like, I had ingested this stuff, and now she's telling me there's nothing they can do. Like, that was horrible. And that was the beginning of the end for me with allopathic. It just was there was it was very informative, I guess. It created a lot of awareness about how helpless um, about how helpless. I'm just reading some of your guys' notes. Yeah, Amy, I'm winging it. So you know that the doctors couldn't fix what I had ingested, so that was kind of a tough one. And so I called my friends who I had started, that were much more familiar in the healing spaces with what they did. I got a hold of one of them and just said, "Hey, this is what happened. What should I do?" And at the time, the answer was get some silver. And they had a particular brand that they wanted me to use. And so I went ahead. I didn't go back on the doctor's antibiotic. And I think I was off work for 2 weeks, according to the doctor. Like, it was that bad of an infection. So I was really, really sick at this point. I remember being afraid of only trusting the silver. And at the time, my friend said, "It's guaranteed, like, don't worry about it." And that was the beginning of just really starting to run with and trust that my body actually can heal, does have information. Oh, yay, you can hear me now, Janine? Okay, good. Come on in. I hope we can talk to each other, because I love your interview style.
Yeah,
So,
I'm here. I'm here. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
hi. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry about that. It was on my end, and that's the way it goes. So, all right. So, do you want to just continue on?
Well, I mean, I just was talking a little bit about the beginning of playing with natural solutions, and this was back in the late 90s. And I would love your questions and interactions as well. I lost my notes when I went to reboot.
Okay. So, did you tell them how you basically started out, like, who you are and stuff like that, or am I behind a little behind the times here?
Oh, well, not really. So I just had a really bad reaction with an antibiotic I was prescribed, and that kind of began me on my natural healing space. And then following that, I had apprenticed in equine kinesiology. That was super super interesting, and that following that, I started a holistic horse rehab facility, which I ran for 15 years. Um, that was like the foundation. It was like a master university of possibilities, because all the horses that came, several vets had already said to put it down. There was nothing more they could do. So allopathic was out the window. And so then it just became this huge space of really connecting with the bodies, with the energies, what the animal was actually asking for, with all the different components to it, that it allowed me to receive my gifts and capacities during that time, and begin to trust myself. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely. So from that point on, now, if I can't recall when we first started our conversation with you. We were just kind of talking in general, and we kind of went out there a little bit. I really felt like our souls just were like reuniting, if you will. It was almost as like we knew each other's light instantly, and I don't ever get that from somebody right off the bat. So, besides all that, can you just tell us? I'll show your website here in a minute. And it is a really good website here. But so what exactly do you have classes and you have events and stuff like that? We'll get to all that in a minute. But what is the whole idea about bringing it home? Did we get there yet?
No, we haven't. Thank you. Again, I lost my notes.
That's okay.
So this is just I was saying at the beginning, and it's really true, that first conversation we had, it was such a huge space that opened up. Like, we opened up something huge. And I think that's what I've been tapping into since we agreed to do this show. And it has, even to the point of losing the notes, that this is such a huge space because there's so much information here that I'm just like brimming with. And to kind of like just keep it simple is feeling like a big order. And the bringing it home, I use that a lot as a verbiage for, when we talk about bringing something into physical actualization. Um, a lot of people are really good at manipulating and working with the energies and playing with the energies, out here a little ways. But to actually bring it all the way into your physical space, whatever it is you're asking for, that is bringing it home. And when I first connected with you, it was on that show where you were really questioning and you were really playful and curious and wondering about what's really available now, because it seems like we've been lied to. And so there was this piece, and you can just see it in general when you kind of thumb through threads and old communities I've played in. I don't play there right now. I'm just like, okay, we're really being demanded to step into what we know is true. And
So
that, yeah.
So what does that do for us on a personal level when you say bringing it home? We're tired of being lied to, and I think you made a comment to me, which made me open up. And whatever it is, or however you handled my energy at that time, was that we can no longer lie to ourselves anymore.
Yeah. Well, and we're coming out of a paradigm where we have been trusting to believe what is trusting that what we're told is true, and it's been pretty hideous. So yeah, back in the when I was a little girl, my grandfather, he traveled the world, and I can remember he would make a trip, like he crossed the Sahara on camels, he climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, so he'd come back from these fantastic trips, and he never wanted to do a tour. He always would go out and live with the people and learn the culture, and he loved playing like that. He would come back to the States, and I'll never forget, every time, like 5 o'clock, my dad would have the 5 o'clock news on. My grandpa would be in the house, and he'd say to us, Americans are the dumbest people on the face of the earth. If they believe what's coming out of that box, because I've been there and I know what's happening there, and that's not it. And he would say it all the time. And it's like we have not learned how to trust ourselves. We haven't been taught to know what is true. It's like the biggest gift we can give our children is to know what is true for them when in our absence. Does that make sense?
Yeah, why don't we touch upon that a little bit more? So, in our absence, when you let's just talk about that. Give us a couple of examples.
Well, like being a helicopter mom, and making sure that your child, does it right, has, all the correctness. It's not there's nothing wrong with teaching correctness. It's the ability for that child to know what is true for them without you present. It's a huge difference. There's a confidence in that space. There's a knowing that is in that space that allows for that child to maybe create something different than going on the beliefs that aren't really true in their space.
Yeah.
Because we're all designed to really to know what is true. So bringing it home is about that. It's about actually creating in a space of authenticity, and it's really exciting. Yeah.
It definitely is. And no longer can we lie to ourselves, let alone have anybody else lie to us. There's definitely been a rise in vibration and frequency. I truly do believe that, to the ones that have been working on themselves. And we don't need to look outside of ourselves. And I know that a lot of people have been saying this for years and years and years, but we still do. So yeah, so it is remarkable about how we are definitely bringing it home right now, as Amy Boyd is saying here on the screen, going down the rabbit hole of simple truth to teach our children. Teach our children well about truth. The thing is that a lot of times, parents, if we go back a generation, parents only knew one thing, and that was to work hard and pay taxes and put the food, keep a roof over our head, pay the bills, put food on the table. That equation doesn't work. That formula doesn't work anymore. It's much deeper than that. You agree, Jackie?
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at it, our parents were given pretty lousy tools to raise us with, and their parents were given pretty awful tools. So we're coming out of this space of, actually, I like to say, we all really should be really proud of ourselves at this point. We are being demanded at this point in time to step into all of who and what we are without having been raised knowing that. Like, what a difference it would be as a child to have your parents say, "We're so glad you're here. We love you. We love you. And we can't wait to see what you choose and how you play." And it's all the things that we weren't told that now, at whatever ages we are, it's like we're being demanded to step into that space now for ourselves and gift ourselves that information. It's huge. Receiving all of who and what you are is actually all that's required. It's a tall order from where we've come from, and what if it was simpler than we realize?
Yeah. So when you're really frustrated with something and you're not being your true self, receiving or exchanging information, because that's all that this is. We are in an information world. We have always have been. It's called energy. And so when we have a particular energy that comes to us, and we've always went along just to be the nice, kind child that we were raised to be, and there was a lot of phases. You went to 70s. The 70s child pretty much had grown up to rebel a little bit. Some of them actually did comply. There were a lot of them that were hippies that ended up in corporate. A lot of them did. They went against their true beliefs. So the question is that we have to ask each other right now is, what is your true beliefs about something? And it doesn't have to be a knee-jerk reaction. It has to more or less be, let me think about this. Let me just get into the energy of what you're asking me. Let me just let it marinate with me for a little bit, and then I'll determine what that might be. That is our true self. And that is what's bringing it home. Is that correct?
Yes. And to me, what is true and what is a belief are two different things. Your confidence in a belief is very different. It's okay, it's kind of like, I like to use horses as an analogy. So it's like the first time you get in a saddle and sit, you're way up high. It's a different, everything's different. It's a different perception. You're not really sure about, how things are going to go. It feels different, all the things. It's like that space of that very first time you sit in the saddle on a horse is very different than when you've been in the saddle 1,000 hours. So you're moving into a space of what is true in the creation with the horse. And it's just different than functioning from belief when you're in that 1,000 hours. There's just a knowing. I guess that's the best way to put it. It's just a knowing. Knowing is different to me than a belief.
Yeah, it's perfect. There are beliefs out there, and there's the knowing of the unknowing, and that is so powerful. Knowing of the unknowing, it's something that can't be explained. It's like trying to explain love to somebody, love for whatever it might be, for another person, for a horse, for whatever. it's like you try to formulate the words, and that's where your own self-empowerment comes in, is knowing the unknowing, and you're okay with it, you're happy with it, and that's where we're evolving to. And am I right with that, Jackie?
Yeah, and something else you had said about kindness, or about, these spaces of what is true and kind. It's interesting because some years ago in a class, that question came up: what is kindness? And at first it was like, well, if you're received with unconditional love by somebody, who would that be? And kind of bring that person in, and just know what that feeling is. And then I realized very, very, very few people actually have that experience of unconditional love from another person. It's just kind of a sad fact. And so I started to question that, what is kindness? Like, what is it? If we don't know what it is, if we haven't been shown what it is, then what is it actually? And the answer, the thing that showed up, was kindness is never an expense to the body. Kindness is never an expense to the body. And that goes into a lot of other information. It's just that if you were to play with that one question, of what is kind here, it really opens up a lot of possibilities to futures created that are much more generative, much more sustainable.
Yes, definitely. So, okay, let's talk a little bit, if you want to go into the healing aspect of this conversation, or is it a little bit too soon?
Maybe tell me.
Well, we're kind of, spiritually, we're always kind of looking to. Um, okay, so a lot of us think that there are certain things that we got to continue to work on, right? And and I think I'm trying to remember our conversation where you took me from, I was interviewing you to come onto the channel and see what you were all about, and next thing you know, I was like way out there with you with information, and it's like you cracked me open, and I was like, I was not expecting to go here.
Exactly.
And I was just wondering that healing aspect that you have. So when people come to you and they say things to you, like for instance, people that have been traumatized, that type of thing, what type of healing or what type of energy are you picking up on them to help them see what you see? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that question. My gift, my capacity has been to open others to their gifts and capacities. And I like to play in the space of, we all come in with gifts and capacities. Many of us will find that the biggest gifts and capacities we have are actually where we've been made the most wrong in our whole lives. So those have been shut down and squelched. And there's a lot of trust that goes into that space of opening that up to allow it to come online. And we're coming out of a reality of separation, huge separation. And I think that for a lot of us, this space of waking up has also allowed us to look at what's really been creating. And much of it hasn't been cool at all with close relationships or family, or a lot of it has. It's like I find sometimes it's really easy for me to make something into something it's not, or be stoic about something, and it's not really looking at what's actually creating. So as your awareness begins to expand and your insights begin to deepen, sometimes the areas that you visit are not so pleasant. And
So the healing coming in from that is are we holding on to the old realities? Is that what you're saying? Is that what I'm hearing? And how do I take and shift from that, if you will?
yeah,
So
well,
like,
that's a great question. I know that right now the earth is purging. She's purging in a really big way, and the energies that are coming off of the earth that have to leave actually have to leave through humanity's bodies. Like it leaves through the body. So let's say an energy of anger is coming up from the earth to be purged through you and leave. It's just a going away party. There's just something to notice. And it's something that maybe brings up a judgment in your universe about something you didn't resolve or address or allow to heal. Then it will end up sticking in the body instead of leaving here. So I guess that's what I'm seeing a lot of right now, is that it's really easy to get stuck and not recognize that it's really just a going away party. Like, to be aware of the information that you're receiving and allow it to move through and on to wherever it goes is a huge gift. And we're all just starting to wake up to that. I mean, that's really
Yeah, that's a great statement there. My mind was kind of going in a couple different directions with that, but the healing that we are actually purging right now in what is stuck. Now, I've been talking about, all of a sudden I woke up, couldn't move out of bed. What am I hanging on to? I know these things, and I was trying to work through it. And I think that's kind of, all of a sudden, it's my right knee that, I had to go do the medical thing by saying, did I pull something? Did I snap something? What's going on? I can't walk on this. So I was using a walker. Why am I stuck on my right side moving forward? Then I worked through a lot of things with you, and it brought a realization that you, like I said, it was almost kind of like when we withhold information to not share it with anybody, there could be a lower vibrational of embarrassment, shame, that type of thing. And not that it's that bad, but that's how we perceive it. And I think that's where you're going with this, is that if we don't crack ourselves open and work on things, or a lot of us might say, well, I didn't know that, but that I was holding on to that. But right now I've kind of sensed that, and this has been going on for a long time, not with myself, but with what's happening with the energies right now. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jackie, but we're being forced to take a look at that. Looks like we're being forced globally. What is actually happening is that we're in a pause of the world right now, right? That we're in a pause for 4 years, and the pause is to reevaluate, re-engineer, realize all the R's, if you will, to understanding that we have to get back a little bit deeper and release a lot of things. Would you agree?
Yeah, we're born, humanity, a natural space that humanity plays in is the ability to feel what others feel, to to just kind of like wear your heart on your sleeve. And a couple of years ago, this is interesting, I was working with, I had become aware of some energies that put me into a really unusual space of turmoil, big turmoil, and I couldn't seem to get a handle on it. Like it really bothered me, and I could, no matter which way I played with it, it didn't seem to lessen. So finally, I sat down with my teams and I just said, hey, I need to know what this is. Like, what am I aware of here? Can you guys help me out? Just show me what I'm aware of, because I don't know how to do anything with it. It's just, but it feels awful. And so I was shown an image of a wooden ark, giant wooden ark floating in the sky. And in the ark, it was full of people, and it was, and the whole world could see this ark. And then suddenly the ark broke completely in half, and the whole world heard the ark break. And we could hear the people screaming in terror as they're falling to their deaths, trying to hold on, asking for help, calling, crying. And it was really awful. And, our natural reactions in that space is to help. Well, then I was shown that the words that came in were, this is what you're aware of. It's not for you. It's not for humanity. It's for mankind. And anytime the energies become too much, to bear as this is happening, you need to look to the earth to know what is true.
Wow. So when we look to the earth, and that's what Turn the Page has been all about, we've got to get back to the basics, turning back to the basics, if you will. And I'm learning this on such a deep level right now. And there's in Mother Earth has every healing plant out there for us. We've got so much of nature that will teach us. So this is huge. Like, okay, so there's been other resets in this world, whether or not we've been here before and are repeating this over again, or this is your first time here. But it's almost as if that we didn't quite get it in the other times, but now at this time I'm praying that this is it. This is the last time. What do we do? We're constantly saying, are you going to stand up and take a stance? It doesn't mean that we've got to go into the streets and fight in a civil war. It's nothing like that. It's all about love and peace.
Well, and isn't it interesting that a lot of us, say, before the past 5 years, 6 years, really didn't have anything we really were solid to stand for, right? And now you can look, there are many, 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 many people on the planet that will never allow you to put something in their body. Never. Mm-hmm. And that is an absolute hard line no. And it has changed like that. It has fundamentally changed that we are willing to stand up for something. We are willing to say enough. And
and we're now open to what everybody thought was conspiracy theories, health-wise. There's so many people out there. We got to still be careful. I use discernment with every conversation that I hear. If I don't like what I'm hearing, I'm gone in 2 minutes, as my dad would say, 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. And that's just such an old saying, but it's the truth. That's how we feel. We don't have, if you take time out, let's talk a little bit about the linear time. I think we did that in our phone conversation. Do you recall, Jackie?
Yeah. So the other thing about the old paradigm is everything was very linear. You had to have A to you go from A to B to C to D to get to the end of this equation with this definition of what you're going to have when you're done with the whole thing. That's not how we're designed to create, by the way. we are designed so incredibly beautifully to create just through our breath, just through play, just through all the things that we've been made wrong to to get serious about is actually the way we're designed to create, and it's effortless. It is absolutely effortless. There's much more into that space. It's just, and there's nothing wrong with the linear. Like, it's probably good to have the linear in place when you're building a house, and drop the linear when you're building a home. When it comes to building a home. Yeah.
Big difference. We do have to understand the structure of it, the foundation, the various levels, and the implementation of it. But then after that's completed, then when we actually have to go in and live, and it is completely different. Building and living, 2 different things here.
Well, and even, I mean, again, the way we're designed to create is actually through our bodies. Your body is the connection point between heaven and earth. You're a walking heaven and earth in embodiment. And the bodies have been made wrong for forever. That was one of the big control spaces of the old reality, has been that the bodies are wrong. And even now when people create with their bodies, they still are very utilitarian often with their bodies. If you look back, like, I have to eat this or drink this, it doesn't taste very good, but it's what's supposed to be good for me. But if there's an attitude in there, you have just taken the energy of the creation and killed it. So
Well, even I don't know what you want to use the word, the elites, the DS, whatever you want to say here, in the processing of all this stuff, which is not natural to us, but didn't come from Mother Nature, it came more from a chemical base, what have you. That was part of the manipulation, and also too with the dumbing in us down generation after generation after generation. I was just one of those kids that when I got into school, I couldn't comprehend what anybody was saying. A lot of things didn't make sense to me. I didn't tell myself I was stupid because I always actually thought I was really intelligent, but I didn't ever see where they were coming from. And to me, that was the brainwashing that was actually happening as we went through things. And then as I was younger, the McDonald's and the Burger Kings and all that stuff started to pop up. The Burger Kings, I remember when I was a little kid, it was a big treat for us once in a great while to go out and get something to eat. Otherwise, we always had to eat what we cooked for ourselves in the home. So I would have to say the 70s and 80s, or excuse me, the 80s and the 90s is when it all got away from us. People in the 70s were extremely thin. Why was that? To the point that they knew that what they were doing to our bodies. And if we go back to what you just said about us being a connection to heaven and earth, however that you want to see it out in the universe, the source, whatever you want to call it, well, when it starts getting toxified, heavy metals, and all that other stuff, our antennas aren't as sharp. Would you agree?
Yeah, so our bodies have receptor and responder systems that are very elegant and exquisitely made to operate correctly. Those are easily gummed up by the toxins you're speaking to, the heavy metals. The body really doesn't know what to do with a lot of the heavy metals that are in the environment that we breathe or drink or eat.
Or the dentist, they were putting mercury in our teeth.
Absolutely. And so it's that space of actually unloading the toxic load off the body is actually super important in a big space I've been playing in for a couple of years now. It's remarkable when you begin to allow the toxins to leave the body, what can shift and change. I got lots of stories in that space. The other thing I was going to say is the belief system that life is hard was another control mechanism that they used. I really saw this. I was invited to Israel to teach a class, and my hostess took me to, the class was in Tel Aviv, but she wanted us to spend a day in Jerusalem so I could tour Jerusalem. And she took me to the old city of Jerusalem. And we went into this very old church. And I just remember there were these steps that were very small and little, but so hard, like so hard. It was almost like it was an effort to even climb just a couple steps. And I looked at that and I thought, here's this beautiful building that they would tell you this is, about heaven and this is about all these amazing things. But the body being wrong it was just like life is hard. Like you're not going to have that other thing until you're out of your body. And that has been a grand illusion put on us for a long time. And we're actually created to create. We're actually created to enjoy. We're created to play. We're created to laugh. We're created to outcreate anything we want to have. There's a lot of things that need to be addressed on the physical level. I know when someone, whether a person or an animal, it's like oftentimes the sessions end up changing just because there may be a different space to approach it from than even what the person is thinking, for what they want to create and what's actually going on can be, just it gets to all be addressed in a holistic way.
So what I have up here is JacqueChapman's website. If any of you are interested, and we're just going to take a little bit of a pause and we'll get back to this. Also, too, want to ask you if you have any questions for Jackie, even if it's something I don't know how personal you want to go with it, but if something that you might be struggling with, let's just leave it there. And she will be back again, but becoming unlimited versions of you, bodies learn from bodies. And it's all about receiving more joy for you and yours. This is all on her website. Go out there and take a look. Pristine health begins here. This is Jackie. When you discover your gifts and your capacities, life becomes full of many more possibilities. When you choose to create your gifts and capacities to learn, capacities to learn your finesse here, it is natural. It is a natural you. She's bringing it home. This is what all this is about. This is a bigger picture. If you can't see her picture on here, you can have a session with Jackie if you choose. It's designed to create a greater peace and harmony. Like I said, I didn't even know when I was having a conversation, interviewing her to come onto the show, that I was in a session. And Jackie, do you recall me saying, I wasn't having it go this way? Our energies just connected, and boom, it was just like healing for you, healing for me. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And she has a very earthy way about her of speaking to you. And so if you want to take a look, you can meet Jackie. This is Enjoying Your Journey, True Creations. Out there, there's a lot of information, Pristine Health, if you want to learn about that. And she does have classes and events, which you can take a look at that she has out here for you guys. So she's got upcoming classes, June 2024, Creationship. If you want to say anything about that, otherwise, if anybody has any questions, we could take those when you're ready.
Yeah. The Creationship class is still creating. And we're leaving a space of what used to be called relationship. And that was how you relate to me and I relate to you. It's kind of a BS space because it doesn't allow for something greater to show up. It's just it's a Stacy's point. It doesn't allow for expansion. Creationship, on the other hand, can allow for new things to show up. It's like there are people in my life that haven't been kind, say, the last time we spoke, right? And it might have been a couple of years. I find now that if they come in my universe, I will ask the question, have they changed? And have I changed? Because I know if that's a yes on both sides, I'll get back with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. So we are constantly creating, is what you're saying, our thoughts, right? People. I will always say something to someone. One time I was making those epoxy pyramids. I was trying to find my creativity, and I was going with it. It was really good because it's at that particular time I had to find that. I never said I was creative at all, but it's not about art creative. It's much bigger than that.
Yeah. Yeah, it becomes the gifting and receiving in simultaneity. It is a simultaneous space. It's kind of like, talking to someone and it might just be a one-way street. It's not a lot of fun. And when there's a two-way conversation happening, the gifting and receiving happening, it's a very different space. It's very enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, if anybody has any questions about anything, please, we'd like to hear from you. Otherwise, I know that you guys are just getting introduced to Jackie. She'll be back on the show again. We were possibly even talking if the time allows us every Tuesday to come on here and talk about a particular subject, which maybe somebody needs to hear this. But yeah, it's more solutions. We're going towards the solutions here on Turn the Page, and the solution starts with us, right? It's just our own creativity. When we talk about where our thoughts go, where our mind goes, our thoughts go, that type of thing, that's what we're creating. I'm happen to be in a space right now that I've got, and there's probably a lot of other people out there that've got multiple things that they're thinking about. Well, for example, we were looking into getting a greenhouse. Should we build it? Should we buy a kit? What are we going to grow? That's just, all of a sudden I'm taking care of myself now. I don't want to be running to the grocery store. I want to be able to look at this stuff. And we're looking at, like you said, Lanier, we've got to build a foundation, because where we're at, there's hurricanes, high winds, and really bad weather that we experienced like in the last couple of days. We're going to make sure that thing is nailed down. On the other hand, I'm thinking about a lot of other things that, I'm wanting to manifest. Now, how would you answer this question, Jackie? Manifesting, if we are creators, we can create what we want. Do we focus on one thing, or do we think about multiple things to create?
I like to go with the question of what's fun. And my motto a couple years ago was, if it ain't fun, I ain't doing it. And I just started playing there. And if it isn't fun doing the dishes, well, how can I make it fun? It just is more of a playful space. So it's like the greenhouse, cool. And what's fun there for you? Is it, and do it's just all the things of, is it fun?
I am one of these people that, my father was a carpenter, so when I got to see him build something from just take a 2x4 and what you can do with it, I was always amazed. I watched these shows where transformation of something to the end results and seeing it, but I don't do that myself. I know how to manifest certain things. I know how to get what I want. I've always seen that. I've always had that ability, the determination. Wherever your thoughts goes, your energy go. I taught that to my niece when she was little. She has that. Never lose the determination. People everybody's jumping on these homesteads now, right? They want to get out of these big cities. They're trying to go and build. This is what I'm saying, is that I'm sensing that these homesteads have been popping up all over. They're leaving the big cities. They're getting out of what they were trying to push everybody into, living in these smaller cities. And these cities are, what do they call them, minute cities? I'm not sure. And getting out into the nature, and into being able to work with their hands again, and building and creating. And you could do that on multiple levels. I'm seeing people that were in corporate jobs that said, I'm done with this bullshit. I'm going to go work a farm. They have no idea what is a chicken, what is a goat, that type of thing. And then you see them a year later, and they've got a whole bunch of chickens and goats and cows, and they're teaching you how to grow things. That's how quickly that we can turn things around for ourselves. So when I'm talking about creating things, I love to see things go from, just like I said, like a little 2x4, and being created and molded into something. I don't know what it is about that. I like I said, I used to watch my father when I was a little girl, and he would get a kick out of me. He if he was working on a door or something like that, he'd say, "Here, hey, hang on." He'd go like this, "Hang on to this little screwdriver, and you follow me around the house. And if there's something loose, I'll have you tighten it up." And because he knew, he couldn't get his boys to do that, but he got his little girl to do it.
Well, I love what you're saying about the homesteading, because it's like the animals are so grounding, and even the creation space of building is a very grounding space. It's a super connection point with the earth, and it's a willingness to get the information, to have the information, to receive more information, and to create with that. And I love that space. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with that greenhouse. It doesn't matter which way you play with it.
Yeah, definitely. So we're looking at things, but more than that, it's going to be okay. The structure of it, but what about all the flowers? What about the path? What kind of stones are we going to put down? I want a water fountain, and right now we have this 8-foot. I don't know what you want to call it. It's almost like a trellis with rose bushes growing straight up over the roof, and bird feeders coming off of it, right? And it's just beautiful. And everybody said, "Oh, you can't grow roses down here." Well, they might get a little rough during July or something like that, but the abundance of the roses, and it with the bird feeders on there, these roses keep the squirrels off because they don't want to get pinched by it. And I did that purposely. I could see things, and to avoid these squirrels coming in and eating all the food and taking it away. We've got hundreds of birds. When I first moved here, there weren't any. And those are the type of things. It's almost as like you build it and it will come. Nature will come to you. And that's what I love about doing all of this creativity stuff. And this is where I'm saying people really got to take a look at getting back out into nature. And it's easy to say. That's probably one of the easiest things to say. But how do you feel about humanity with that right now?
Yeah, it's really important that people are connecting with their bodies. And part of that to me is actually moving your body, because you'll move a lot of energies through your body just by moving your body. If you like to hike or walk, um, something I found years ago that was very helpful was that every footstep, I would have a word. So it was Thanksgiving, giving thanks. So every footstep, thanks, giving, giving, thanks. And I just continued that the whole walk, like just seeing that energy land on the earth and then spread out, and land on the earth and then spread out. So the trail was blessed as well, and it's just, you can come with a myriad of ways, but it's like, yes to the creation space. And there's so many simple ways to actually get clear and just enjoy it. Just have fun with the creation space. That's how we are designed to create, is through the play.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
that. I've always been like that. I can tell that when I first started my channel, I was all about fun and play. I would give away hats. I give away this. I wasn't a grifter. I was just basically, still working a job, and that's me. I love to give things away because it brought me joy and love, and I never thought about it, any other way. But now that we're in this particular time, what I'm looking forward to is getting this greenhouse going, growing these tomatoes, sharing that with friends and neighbors, sharing the tomatoes, because those things grow like crazy. And that's what this is all about. And I don't look at it as like I'm doing this, is a chore. I'm looking at it as, you got to have fun with this. Like I don't know if you heard me earlier, but Sunday, we're all going down to the wharf here, and we're all going to be dressed up like Mrs. Roper from Three's a Company. And I didn't know that this is a thing. I think a lot of people do it. If you go on Amazon, you can see they sell her Crafton, which is basically her beachwear that she wears. And I've got the wig and all that other stuff. It's just fun, silly stuff. Men can do it too. I've seen a few guys that from the last years that had beards and they were dressed like that too. But that's what I'm talking about, is the fun in everything. And that was taken away from us. It was almost as if the first time I realized that I lost a lot of being silly and having fun is when all the energies of the news and everything that was coming down, and the truthers constantly telling you this is going to happen. Oh my God, look out, this is solar flares, blah, 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 blah. And I got to the point where I'm like, I'm done. I'm so done with this.
Yeah, that space of play is so important, and laughter. What if our currency was just laughter and joy? What if,
Mm-hmm.
what would it be like? I do like to play in the space of what would it be like to wake up every day with an earth that is that no longer, where evil and corruption no longer can exist. Like, if tomorrow morning we woke up and evil and corruption were completely void off the planet, what would that be like? What would that energy actually be like, um, to have, to experience? And would you connect with your neighbors? Would you talk with people that maybe you never talked to before? Would you find traffic on the road would be different? Would you find life would begin to change in such a dramatic way? And it's all the things. It's like, we all get to hold, moving forward, the energies of the future we're asking to have, and not be swayed by the rumors, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. So everybody seems to be really wrapped around the axles of this thing called money. And it's interesting because money has no value whatsoever. It's a piece of paper that they keep printing and printing and printing and printing. And then they charge you, they borrow from this piece of paper, which makes no sense. But then everyone else will say, well, take any of your money that you have and turn it into gold and all this other thing. Everything will happen in the right time for everybody. It's kind of like, I'm just so sick and tired of the mainstream bullshit that is out there. And if we don't realize that of our own creativity comes first before any of this other crap that they're spewing out there, it's how are we going to how are you going to be able to create? People are so worried about money and things. There's been many times in my life where I didn't have the money and I had more pride to ask people for help. But there is always a way for things to show up in your life as long as you are what? Creating.
Well, and you can ask the question, I like to ask this question to my body, is body, what would it be like for new kind money flows to begin showing up for us now?
So can you say that again a little bit louder?
Body, what would it be like for new kind money flows to begin showing up for us now?
So with me being more conscious of the crap or no crap that I'm and eating correctly and just
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a lot of fun just making up my little green smoothies and put all my nutrients and everything that I have into that. I'm being very conscious of that. And today my husband finally said, "Wow, you are losing weight." And I said, "Oh my God,
Yay.
you noticed?" Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah." And I'm not losing weight; I'm losing the inches. But
Well,
yeah, so I didn't realize I was going to be losing the inches and stuff like that. But more than that, that made me feel really, really good. But more than that, what's making me feel really good is I'm taking control of my own self empowerment for my body so that I can talk to my body now and understand what it needs and doesn't need. And a lot of times I seem to be more thirsty than anything and craving a lot more water than anything. And so that's where I'm at with asking. But you're taking it a step further, and you're basically allowing your body to give you answers to everything besides the food and the
mm-hmm.
drinks. And you're just saying, go, when people say go within, you're putting a little spin on it. You're basically saying, body, like you just mentioned there, what would it be like, right? Is that how you
Yeah.
start this out, Jackie?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Just it's kind of like giving an open question to the universe with the request with no definition to it. You just know that kind money flows would actually contribute to your life. So what would it be like for those to start showing up? And what would it be like to have new friends that adore you, begin to show up? It's all the little things that we don't think about. Bodies love connection, bodies love to be touched, bodies love to move. And there's so many ways that you can start playing with honoring your body in maybe from a space of much more kindness. We've done the utilitarian thing for a long time, and that's kind of an old habit. So it's like, as you're waking up, actually just really play in that space of, if your body is truly sacred and a creation space that is so available, it's like, how could you honor it? What is actually kind? What is actually fun? I know my body has a sense of humor, and some of the stories I could tell you would be like, to my horror, this thing happened. And it's something I was asking to create, and then I'll be like, okay, body, that's what I asked for, but wow, that is not how I expected it to show up. And
So is
I
it the information coming back to you in your thoughts? Is it the knowing of the unknowing? Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's definitely, there's feedback. It will show up what you're asking for. um, yeah. uh, I'm just trying to think of a story I could play with. when I was invited to Israel to teach that class, so that day we went to Jerusalem. Um, we were walking on the old streets in the old city of Jerusalem. So the streets Jesus had walked is, what they would say. And so old cobblestones, and along the streets were stores on both sides, old stores. Well, the buildings. And on the side of the street was about a dozen older gentlemen, Hebrew, I'm guessing, or Jews. I don't know what, but they were old, and they were sitting in these chairs next to each other, like this is what they did every morning for entertainment, was all sit in the chairs and drink their coffee and watch people walk by. So my friend at some point in our walking through the different stores, she's like, well, you must want something you want to take home for yourself. And I was like, yeah, what would be fun to take home? And they have a ton of belly dancing outfits in all these stores. And I was like, oh, that might be fun. Let's get a belly dancing outfit. So every store we went into, she would jostle with the salesman about the price. I'd be like, she'd be like, well, and so she would be talking to them in Hebrew. I couldn't understand a word they were saying, but every single store she would leave in a huff, like just, like talk to the hand, I'm out of here. I'd be like, why? What happened? She'd be like, well, they're asking too much money. I'm like, all right. So we went to another store before the men on the street. So this store was the direction we were headed. We would be going by the men on the street in their chairs. And we went into this store, and this young man in there, he was, following her around, and she walked out the door in a huff, like, no, we're not going to buy your things. And I walked out in a huff with her, I'm like, no, we're not going to buy your things, and didn't know what had been said. And as we walked by the gentleman in the chairs, I hear this man calling down the street, miss, miss. And I turn around, and the young man from the store is calling me, and all the old men are looking at him. And then when I go, what? They look at me. So they're like watching a football game. And then they look back to him. He says, if you wear it, I will give it to you. And I just remember, thinking to myself, wow, body, this is not what I had thought we were going to have going on. You're asking these questions and then this shows up. But it was comical. It's like, wow, that's not what I had in mind. But apparently body was creating with it just to play, just. So it's the different things that we don't necessarily connect with in the linear spaces, that our bodies can just pull from all these different spaces to actually bring in creations that then we can go, yeah, that's exactly what I was looking at, or let's change it up a little bit. Yeah.
I can tell a lot of people out on Rumble really like that story. Christina did. She's sending you lots of hearts. Fantastic. So we're kind of talking about the body, and there's a question out there that's on the screen from MJ saying, do we need to be taking supplements? You talked a lot about the heavy metals, parasites, those type of things. I'm kind of talking to my body daily to see what is the difference between the heavy metals and the parasites, and which one would I wouldn't want to go and detox both of them at the same time, or can you? Do you have a lot of information on the supplements?
Yeah, so the heavy metals, the spaces I play in, it's actually a product that from the first time you take it to the next time you pee, you're peeing the heavy metals out. So it's super natural and super holistic, and the body does not freak out having heavy metals move through the system to leave. A lot of times what people find is that, like I had heard this a while back, a farmer I think in Idaho, him and his wife had sold their ranch, and then they moved somewhere a little bit more exotic, and they decided they wanted to get healthy and clean up and be able to wear different clothes and lose weight. So the farmer, he got in a training program with a trainer and went to the gym and lost all the weight, and within the next 6 months he died of pesticide poisoning. So what had happened is that his body had been forced to take care of that fat, but the fat was what was keeping him safe.
Hmm.
So be aware that, if you're asking your body to do something and it's in a hold pattern of something else, there may be more to it. And also, supplements are great. And if your body is not absorbing it, just like I was talking about the heavy metals affect the receptor responders of the body, then it just goes through you. It doesn't even get absorbed or utilized. So um, your body will respond even to the foods you're eating way, way better once the heavy metals start being allowed to leave. And the fat, oftentimes, like lead, is actually sequestered in the bones. So your bones, if you're exposed to lead, um, you know, so there's just, to me, it's like, it's all about kindness to the body, like, yes, to letting things leave, and and you don't have to do it in a utilitarian way. I think sometimes when people detox, it can it can go into harsh spaces, and it doesn't have to. It can be gentle, and it can be
Hmm.
kind. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying that the supplements can help, even though if you go to a plant-based diet, as I'm really trying to do that, and you're to help, because there's going to be certain times that I don't know how to explain this. There are certain times throughout the day where I'm feeling like I am just bogged down. Things seem so heavy to me, and I'm just wondering if those are like the heavy metals, or if I am actually cleansing at that particular time. So there's a lot of things, like
Mm.
somebody like me and my size, my weight, that I really had never focused on it. And now that I'm going through this, and wanting to sleep a lot more, if I talk to my body right now, what I'm actually hearing is everything that I'm doing is correct for the process and what I'm actually, what I'm actually taking right now. I do add
Mhm.
supplements into my smoothies, to get rid of some of the heavy metals and stuff like that I have. But like I said, I think that's why my body is craving a lot more water. I don't want the food. I still see my husband over there. I'll run out to the store and get $50 worth of produce, and he'll come back with $50 worth of cakes and cookies and pies.
Mhm.
He's not going to give it up because that's what his body is craving. I look at it, and at one point in time, I never had willpower. Now I just look at it and go, no, well, I'm going to go make a banana smoothie with spinach and stuff like that. Just throw things in there, and it tastes so damn good that I don't want the sugar.
Well, and I think that's just, you just said it, you're enjoying it, you're seeing results, and those are bringing it home. It's that space. It's just an energy, and the sleepiness that you're talking about, the resting, how much has been denied for you to actually have that rest space. When your body detoxes, it actually requires more energy to push out, to take care of the house cleaning. And so there may be a period of rest afterwards that's required, to honor it, and just to, again, you're looking at the results, um, and asking questions. So that's super cool.
Yeah, it is. And take things, be gentle with yourself on this. And that's pretty much what I'm learning from all this. There's so much that I'm just going through. And it was because of all of you that, are out there. We've got MJ, we got Amy Boyd, we have Christina that was on the show the other day. We have Hula Hoop. Thank you, Hula Hoop. Like I said, Hula Hoop sent me in the mail sugarless cookies, chocolate chip cookies. I will show them on Saturday with Buck. And another surprise that I won't mention that she sent me, and I so appreciate it. Hula Hoop is asking, Jackie, have you ever had an ionic foot bath for detoxing?
Yeah, yeah, those are those are interesting. Mine, usually, are interesting colors and smells and all kinds of stuff. I didn't realize for years and years my body would absorb chlorine from the pools. when I would swim as a kid. And so the first ionic foot bath I had was very full of chlorine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I know. I know that Hula Hoop and Dr. Ken have got such a beautiful, um, healing. I call it a healing center, but it Hula Hoop. What is the name of it again? But it's in Marietta, Georgia. There's a lot of people that follow me that have gone there. Mary, well, came on. She was there. She came on and she did the foot bath, and it is a good thing to pull these toxins out. And I keep thinking one day I'm going to be able to make time. And I think she's about a 6-hour drive for me, for me to get over there and do this with her. But I'd also like to be able to find this locally too, so that I know that I can, go and have this done. And Hula Hoop and Dr. Ken will be back in the near future, also with Christina and also with Jackie. Are you guys really enjoying this conversation? Are there other things that you want to, hear us talk about next Tuesday? We'll come back and we'll just do a little bit more of this. We're kind of talking about the body, kindness, just a lot of spiritual things, integrating and bringing it down to earth, if you will. And this is the reason why that we're actually here. And what does this mean for us? Is that it makes us a lot more healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Beautiful.
Hula Hoop says, yes, it's a healing center with a hyperbaric chambers and infrared saunas and foot baths. Thank you so much, Hula Hoop. And of course, that is not her real name, but that's what we know her as. And Dr. Ken, I can't wait to have him back on here again. Like I said, I did call up Dr. Ken when I was in a lot of pain. I'm not in that pain anymore, so I'm releasing a lot of things. And I kind of know what those are. It's very obviously very personal to me, but all of us are on this journey. And, I do want to ask you one other question, Jackie, if you have a moment, is talk about the connection to other people. What are your thoughts on that? When somebody is, going through something and, you pick up on it or something like that. Can you talk a little bit about the connection that we have with each other?
Yeah. So one of the things I love is that bodies learn from bodies. So when we speak to the connections, it's like the inner work you have done for whatever things that you've moved through and actually raised your vibrations with, around. Um, if you are walking through a grocery store and pass someone who's had the same experiences or is in the middle of those experiences, you actually change their vibration. Their body receives the information that your body has that there is a different possibility. So even if no words were exchanged, the energy is there. It's like one of the main reasons that that the rest homes have a higher death rate is that a healthy body and a sick body, when they're next to each other, the sick body heartbeat will entrain to the heartbeat of the healthy body. I know when I had my holistic horse rehab facility, I was always amazed when I would have a brand new horse brought in who wasn't in the program for maybe just a day or so. All the other horses had been on the program for a while. That horse next to, like 6 feet away from, another horse all in their own pens, the new horse with the immune system down would be covered in flies. 6 feet away, there would be a horse with no flies. And so the immune systems, play into that as well. If I had a horse that I was working with a lameness issue on with a particular modality, I might find that the horse in the pen next to them with also a different lameness, that lameness was actually changing because I was changing the one in the pen next to it. And I got to watch it all the time, so yeah, bodies learn from bodies, and the connection is actually super important to have. We are in a body, and so we do translate a ton of information to each other, and it's like, again, what's kind? What, body, what am I aware of? What am I aware of here that I can acknowledge? And it's just a space of play.
So this space of play that you talk about, if you have two people under one roof, and I'm seeing this happen, is that when I start become more conscious of healthy things, does that help the other person that loves those cookies?
Yes, and you might, how do I want to say this? Um, hmm, there can come, how do I want to put it? So let's say you become a size 7, and right, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know nothing about your size or anything, but I'm just saying, like let's say you go down several sizes, and you're fitting into different clothes, you're looking good, you're feeling good, and that person that you're with is still in that other space of cookies, and maybe not feeling so good. There's a receiving in that space that happens, and it's either going to be received or not. So there can be resistance and reaction to what you're creating, or there could be curiosity and pride maybe for you. So it's interesting because it's just a creation space, it's just a play space, and uh, asking,
Well, I can
what
verify
science.
that for you. I can verify that exactly what you're saying. So I was making my smoothie, and I had, what it was, like bananas, pineapples, and I think it was blueberry. No, I didn't put any blueberries in there. There was another fruit. I can't think of it for the life of me. But in any case, I was mixing it up, and my husband goes, "Well, that looks really good." And he goes, "What's that green stuff next to it?" And I said, "That's spinach." And and he says, "Well, can I have the stuff before you add the spinach to it?" So I
That's
said,
so
"Well, I'm not."
cute.
Yeah, I said, "Well, I'm not really done with it here." So I took it and I poured in what he wanted. I didn't even have the ice in it. I was just kind of, grinding it all up, making it, so I don't, get any of the chunks and stuff like that in there. And so I gave it to him, and he enjoyed it. And so, there will be a time where he might not even know that I have cilantro or spinach or something like that in it, right? And
Well, yeah. And how much are you playing in this space? How much does it open up to something new and other possibilities that you didn't even think were possible, right? And it's only because
exactly.
you're stepping into new spaces for yourself and he's curious. That's really fun. That's a fun energy.
It is. It is a fun energy, and that's why we're hoping that everybody's is going to walk away with this information here. It's a fun
Mm.
energy. So this is a beautiful thing, and we'll kind of wrap it up here, and then we'll come back offline, obviously, and come back with another thing that we're doing. But a lot of people have always been worried about, I don't talk to my mother, or my kids don't talk to us, or you know what I'm saying. There's that division that was created out there by society. Let me just put it that way. But if you play in the energy, and we could pick this up like next time, and these wounds can be healed. But if we're going at it from a mental perspective, like, how am I going to tackle this? There's got to be some way. But if we could come at it from a place of fun, like you say, creating fun, creating a space, energy is much lighter, and things will turn around, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just a space of play. It's just a space of what's kind. And I love that. And yes, to exploring this more next time, because that's actually a really important subject that we're
It
breaking
is.
away from. Yeah, so for sure.
So the division out there has been created by whomever. Just we'll just leave it at that. And these things that everyone thinks that can't be healed. And the reason why I say that is, as I did a lot of readings right around 2020 is when I was seeing the same thing come in. It was so powerful, and I said, Spirit, boy, this is unbelievable. What I'm being shown here is that it was, my mother doesn't talk to me, my brother doesn't talk to me, so on and so forth. And it was breaking my heart, and I just said, oh, please help me understand this. How can I, you know um, you know receive this information, and then present it back to them. And I had to go a little bit deeper with some of the people, and whether or not they made changes in their life. But now I'm in a totally different space that this is where I want to talk next Tuesday about mending those relationships, but they're never been broken. Isn't that right, Jackie?
Yeah, we're just coming from a space of great separation that has been purposefully planted because the separation is what keeps us weak. The connection is what allows us to be strengthened and thriving and creating and generating and having what we are, all of who and what we are. So yes to that. Let's play there next week. I love that.
Yeah, definitely. And I hope all you guys come back and play with us. Just it'll be a lot of fun. So you can catch us on Tuesdays, 6 o'clock Central Time. If anything changes, it'll just be the time. But I appreciate everybody coming in and enjoying this conversation, and I love it. There's going to be so much healing coming from this, and I know that you guys probably have already feeling this out here. Lots of love in the chat and both Rumble and also on YouTube here. And I really am trying to build up YouTube just so that everybody knows. I finally found my password into YouTube that was lost for about a year, and it was meant to be. And I now have I have MJ out there that is a moderator along with Amy Boyd. Thank you so much, Amy. And MJ Truther is basically saying, Janine, thank you so much and to bring Jackie into our lives. What a wonderful talk tonight. It is wonderful. There's going to be a lot more healing happening because it starts with us, right? And anything that in closing that you want to add, Jackie, and then we'll just say good night to everyone.
I'm really enjoying the energy of this whole conversation, Janine, and thank you so much for being the invitation for us to have this space.
You're more than welcome, and I do appreciate you, and I thank everybody out there. Mojo Mama One says thank you, ladies. There's a lot of people that are just jumping on to say thank you. We hope that we touched your heart, in your mind, in your soul, and you are much lighter than you were when you first jumped in here, and that's what this is all about. And we're going to have more fun. Thank you, Jackie, so much. It's a pleasure again to speak with you, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you so much, Janine.
All right,
Have a good
everybody,
night.
thank you. Good night, and now we turn the page.